My name is Kevin M. Cahill, MD. I'm a physician who has worked for many, many years in refugee camps. And many years ago, I became, first, as physicians may be, thinking that you're the most important character in the camp because you're a doctor, but then you look around and you find that the person doing water or shelter or sanitation or security, they're very important. But the first thing you notice from the mothers and children, and it's mostly mothers and children in refugee camps, is that they want a place under a tree to gather and to try to restabilize and to try to get a normal life back. And we end up using those spaces, those sort of neutral, safe spaces, as schools. And it's in those schools where you can learn as adults what do the children need. They need to learn not to pick up landmines. They need to learn not to go off with strangers. They need to get back to the normalcy of life. So we did a book entitled Even in Chaos, Education in Times of Emergencies. The book was launched in April of 2010 at the United Nations at a really remarkable conference that was made very memorable by the presence of the great Academy Award-winning actress Meryl Streep. And she had read the book in galley form and prepared a statement, a lengthy statement, a thoughtful statement, and then various participants and contributors to the book talked about their particular areas of interest. For example, a professor at Columbia, Allison Anderson, spoke about the need for standards in establishing education in emergencies. She is the executive director of an organization called the International Network for Education in Emergencies, and they have 4,000 members. It's getting everyone to understand what is expected and what should be done. And so that work has gone on for a long time. There was another professor named Simon Reich, and he has spent his lifetime studying camps, refugee camps, to find out why are children kidnapped, for example, in one camp and not in another. And some of the very simple, fundamental reasons seem simple, but they're not. You have to, as he said, study 1,500 camps to realize that if your camp is too close to a highway, then it's easy for very evil and bad people to come in and grab children and make them into child soldiers or sex slaves. Francis Deng, another contributor to the book, is a man from the southern Sudan who is the Undersecretary General of the United Nations. And Francis spoke about the cultural needs in education in post-conflict situations. He's from the Dinka tribe, and the Dinka have concepts that may be very different from the concepts of education that we have in the West. And if we're going to work as Westerners or people from developed nations in this very privileged zone where developed and developing countries come together after conflicts or natural disasters, then we must appreciate and respect the culture of those people that we're there to serve. So I think the book has the possibility of serving an almost unmet need, a need that's been recognized increasingly in recent years, not, as I say, as an indulgence, but as an absolutely fundamental right of children.